Tapu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Hurun Nefer. This is Kazakh Mahad Keperu with another exciting video for you. In this video, we're going to talk about there's life on Mars. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications of when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you're interested in knowing more about my spiritual teachings and Kemetic philosophy and reality manifestation, we have free ebooks for you. You can click on the links below and download those ebooks and start reading today. If you want to take that journey to the next level and come out of the matrix, support us on Patreon. We have a really nice community there. And as a Patreon supporter, you'll get exclusive access to instructional videos on how to meditate, how to summon the spirit for your protection, how to do Qigong, how to work with oracles, tarot, Ifa, and the I-ching, how to do self-hypnosis. You can put yourself into a state of hypnosis to get rid of overeating, smoking, any type of addiction or anxiety or nervousness. So become a Patreon supporter. You can do so for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. It's up to you. You can cancel at any time, and there's never any obligation. And if you become a Patreon supporter, you'll get all your spiritual oracle readings for free. So why not become one today? Lastly, please share this video with family and friends so we can start the revolution and get the truth out there. So Harun Nefer, how are you doing? So I wanted to make this video, and primarily is because, oh God, I hate BS. I really hate BS, you know, and especially when it comes from the scientific community. But I want you to understand something very clearly. The individuals that are responsible for the most lying, deceitful ways come from the academic community and the scientific community. Scientific community has long years promoted racism, the idea of the superior race. They promoted that. They have all, the scientific community has hidden information and knowledge away from the general community. In terms of understanding things like who the Egyptians really were. They have lied and falsified that they are white of European history or European lineage, which is a lie. They're African, they're Black Africans. They have lied when it comes to ancient civilizations, saying that African civilizations were primitive and African people were backwards. And all civilizations, Mayan civilization, Chinese cultures, how they were second to European greatness. Scientific community has lied so much. So anything that you learn in academia or the great so-called higher learning institutions of higher learning, such as your universities, you've got to question big time. In fact, get your money back. They have been the progenitors of racism, sexism, hiding knowledge. And in fact, even your religious institutions have lied to you, covering up the truth. So you have to understand that under the guise of this conspiracy theorists, they use that as a means and method to label those trying to research the truth and expose the truth. So they have to make you seem like a crackpot. And you become a pariah. No one wants to talk to you. Meanwhile, you know the truth, but you're labeled a conspiracy theorist. You understand what I'm saying? So you're in good company. You're in the search for truth. People who are going according to the status quo are liars. There have many scientists who have researched cures into cancer suddenly disappeared, murdered. Many heads of corporations, well-known established corporations, or people working in their research and development department have mysteriously disappeared. Because this society has to put a lid on the truth and your understanding of our existence. They don't want you to know the truth. Just like they don't want you to know there's life on Mars. You see, they are searching through our galaxy for life. And they're like, well, we're sending these probes to Jupiter and Saturn, and we haven't found water. Because they know if they find water, that's the basis of life. So they cover up the fact that they've already found water on several moons and planets. They don't want you to know that. They have to lie about it. You see, and they're partly correct that society, especially religious institutions, would break down totally if they were to come out and say, on a couple of Saturn's moons, we found water and there's microbial life there. It would totally destroy the religious sect. They would go into a panic because why? They would no longer have control over your mind. It would be the end of their control and their monetary endeavors. That was the basis of slavery, and the Pope and the Queen were endorsing slavery for monetary gain. They're hiding the fact about life because they're getting rich off the control they have on you and the lies that they tell you that Jesus is not real. If you think Jesus is real, then you must believe in the Easter Bunny. Because anybody who is worth his damn in academia can do the research and show you how the story of Jesus came out of the story of a Tsar and a Set. And not only that, there are many different cultures who had the exact same story of the resurrected king. Many different civilizations had that exact same story prior to it becoming in vogue in Christianity. But I'm not here to talk about that. I digress. You see, I happen to be watching a video where China is sending a probe to Mars. And let's take a look at that video because I think it's worth looking at. And I'm going to point out the mind control wording that they're using there because it's very, very interesting and very subtle in how they use it. All right. So let me see if we can take a look at that. This is China's mission to Mars. And of course, NASA works in conjunction with Hollywood to put out propaganda. So Hollywood will put out movies about Mars in the same way our military works with Hollywood to put out movies like Rambo and Schwarzenegger to really pump you up on the idea of nationalism. So you need to be aware of that, very clearly be aware of that. So let's take a look at this video real quick. All right, shall we? Because I think it's going to reveal some things to us.
Our imaginations quite like Mars. No other planet has captivated our imaginations quite like Mars. While inhospitable now, billions of years ago, the landscape of this dusty rock was similar to that of Earth, but somewhere along the way, it became a red wasteland. And scientists don't exactly know how. With countless possibilities, it's no wonder that countries around the world are sending missions to Mars to uncover what secrets the planet may hold. And one of the most ambitious missions yet is China's Tianwen-1. This will be the country's debut Mars exploration venture, and they're going big. Tianwen-1, translating to Questions to Heaven, consists of an orbiter, lander, and rover. And this is one of the reasons why this project is so ambitious, because executing all three mission components on a first attempt is a feat not achieved by any country before, because, well, it's hard. Getting to Mars is a several-month endeavor, and once you get there, the planet doesn't exactly send a warm welcome. NASA has dubbed the descent to Mars as the 7 minutes of terror because the Martian atmosphere creates heat to any craft that hopes to land on its surface. Only a few missions that have landed on the surface of Mars have been successful, and the majority of them have been from NASA. This may sound like a daunting undertaking for China, but judging by their track record in the last few years, they've been rather victorious with other projects. In 2013, China joined the exclusive league of countries that have been able to land on the moon. And in 2019, they were able to land on the far side of the moon with their rover Chang'e 4, which no one else has done. So this Tianwen-1 mission is...
Okay, so the Tianwen-1 space probe is going to Mars. And I want you to understand the language she used at the very beginning of the video. In fact, let me just play that so you understand the programming that's being done here. Let's play that again. Listen to what she says.
No other planet has captivated our imaginations quite like Mars.
So the justification for going to Mars is no other planet has captivated our imagination. Okay, so that's Tianwen-1, the Chinese mission to Mars. So why don't we, and bear with me, this is going to make sense when I'm going to get to the why this is all important. So let's take a look at something else, which is the next probe to Mars, because we like sending probes to Mars because it's captured our imaginations, hasn't it? You know. So let's look at this video about the UAE's mission to Mars, the United Arab Nation or whatever.
July 2020 is a crowded month for Mars missions. It feels like everyone is going to the red planet, one of which is the Emirates Mars mission that will be making history in more ways than one. And time is of the essence. The team has a limited launch window, and if they miss it, they'll have to wait until 2022. But when it does get there, the mission could provide us with the most comprehensive picture of the Martian atmosphere yet.
This is the first time we're doing a deep space mission. The fuel that's needed for such a mission, the communication delays that you will get, makes it really complex to be able to operate and work on.
In fact, the Emirates Mars mission will be the first interplanetary one for the Arab world. And it's quite impressive considering that the country's national space program only started in 2006. In order to get the project off the ground, the team worked with a handful of US institutions, including University of Colorado Boulder and UC Berkeley. And while just getting to Mars is a feat in itself, the team has also set their sights on better understanding the Martian atmosphere with three main objectives in mind.
One, characterize the Martian lower atmosphere. So we want to know and characteristic the climate, how it changes for a whole Martian year. And then we would like to...
Okay, all right. I can't watch this because I'm so sick of the bullshit. You know, I'm sorry, but it really gets me angry. You know, and I want you to understand the cost of what it takes to send something to Mars. I want you to understand the costs. It is in the neighborhood of, for each probe, let me take a look at this. For each probe, Mars 2020 is a flagship class mission or one of NASA's most expensive and robust space exploration endeavors with a total cost estimate of $2.46 billion. Billion dollars. Okay, so getting to Mars is a $1 billion exploration. You must understand that. $1 billion exploration. Okay, so now with that in mind, let's look at how many probes have been to Mars. In total, counting successful ones and non-successful ones, because there are a lot of probes that crash and didn't make it to Mars, there's been a total of 26 probes that were sent to Mars. I'm sorry, not 26, excuse me, 56. 56 probes sent to Mars. All right, and I want to share with you just a few of them so you get an idea of, again, costing in the billions of dollars, just say $2 billion rounded off to get to Mars for each probe. And let's take a look at it. All right. We're going to the red planet, all the past, present, and future Mars missions. All right. Interesting. So let's explore that. All right. Let's go. And these are just a few. I said 56 probes to Mars in total, successful and non-successful. Mars Odyssey 2001. Mars Express 2003. Mars Spirit and Opportunity 2003. Mars Reconnaissance, wait, did I get that right? Yeah. Orbiter 2005. Curiosity Rover 2011. It's like me. Mengling, sorry if I butcher that. Mars Orbital Mission 2013. Maven 2013. ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter 2016. InSight Lander 2018. Planned missions. Hope Mars mission 2020. Perseverance rover 2020. Taiwanese 1 2020. Rosalind Franklin 2022. Terahertz Explorer 2022. Does that look like? Okay. All right, there's that weird name again. Manglanin 2 Mars Orbiter Mission 2 2024. Martian Moons Exploration 2025. Phobos and Deimos are two Mars moons, so this one's going to explore the Mars moons, okay? All right, and there's more proposed missions after that, okay? Now, with a cost of at least $2 billion each, one has to ask the question. One has to ask this question. Well, let's put it to you this way. One of my favorite film directors is James Cameron, right? And I think it was Sojourner, one of the Mars missions where they said that you can come and watch as the probe goes over the terrain and And James Cameron asked, well, can I control it where it goes and point the camera in different directions on the landscape? And they were like, no, you cannot. So it doesn't take a genius to figure out what's going on here. And there's only two possibilities. One thing I want you to understand with the UAE mission to Mars, they were working in conjunction with the United States. This is telling you that the other nations that are sending probes to Mars are all in cahoots, right? They're all doing it together. Why are you continually spending billions of dollars to go to Mars? To research sand and the air you've researched a million times. What is every new probe going to experiment with that it has the preceding the probe didn't test? Well, we want to test more of the dirt, the samples. No, we want to test more of the atmosphere. No, we want to test more of the sky. No, we want to test more of the rocks. These excuses are cover-ups. They're just cover stories, okay? No one's going to spend $2 billion per probe with a 50% success rate to get to Mars because they go missing, they crash, some of them don't make it, 50% of them fail to get to Mars. And we said, what, 56 probes were sent, not counting the 2 that's going this year. And all of these nations are racing to send probes to Mars. So what's going on now? It's one of two things. Number one, they found life, which I totally believe they have. And they're not telling us because they won't tell us. Or number two, they're interested in terraforming Mars. Now, terraforming Mars is a very, very expensive proposition. And we don't have the type of technology to do that right now. That technology is decades away. More than that, probably. So obviously, and as James Cameron said, well, can I point the camera in any direction? And they were like, no, you cannot. So what they do is they send the probes there and they just take pictures of sand and dirt and keep sending it back to us and say, oh, look, we're experimenting with more dirt. We're experimenting with more sand and rocks. We're experimenting with the atmosphere again. So why doesn't the United States share their finding with China and the Arab nation about the tests concerning the dirt and the air? Why keep spending billions of dollars to go keep testing the same thing over and over and over again? No one does that. What research R&D department spends billions of dollars to keep testing sand and dirt? Every probe goes there, tests the same thing. It sticks its finger out, it puts its finger in the dirt, it drills down, it tests the dirt, the soil samples, it relays information to NASA, and we take some cool pictures of the Martian landscape, and they come back and they say, oh, well, now we have 4K pictures. Now we have this. Now we have high quality pictures. It's the same damn landscape you're showing me. over and over again. You're showing me a desert. You're not showing me anything that you haven't seen before in the previous probes. What are you not showing me? The cover story that they have to keep going with is, oh, we just want to, it's captured our imaginations. No, you slick mofos. You found life and you're not telling us and you don't want to tell us. So you have to put out cover stories, because you have to explain the billions of dollars that you're using to get there. So I just wanted to touch on that because I am just so tired of these lies, and they're so obvious, but the public is not awake to the fact of what's going on because they're so distracted by everything. We don't stop to say, wait a minute, you keep sending billion-dollar probes, spending our money, billions of dollars to test dirt? Why would you do that? You know? That's like you going to the Sahara 56 times. And then somebody looks at you and says, wow, you must really like the Sahara. Why do you keep going there? I'm testing the sand. Really? And you didn't test it right the first 10 or 20 times? What are you not telling us you're doing out there in the Sahara? Do you know the feat that it takes to get a probe to Mars? Do you know the expense, the manpower, the labor, the technical know-how to do something like that? To galvanize those people together to send probes to Mars and have the budget to keep doing that? And just to say we're doing it just to test the atmosphere and the sand and the dirt? Who funds something like that? Who would fund that? Who does that? But we don't ask those questions, you see. We don't say, you're spending billions per probe in a total of 56 probes. Only half has been successful. Why are you spending that money when it can be used for domestic affairs, the homeless, world hunger? Because they found life. And every other nation knows it. That's why they're sending probes. They're trying to race to get there, to photograph it, to see it. And all the nations are working together. And they won't tell us because it would destroy the current system, the religious institutions, the lies that they've been trying to uphold all this time. I want you to think about that. And all I'm asking is, I'm not saying that you have to believe there's life on Mars. You can believe whatever you want. But I'm going to tell you, does it logically make sense to spend over $2 billion for 56 probes to go to Mars, to keep sampling dirt, sand, and the air? Does that logically make sense? You have to ask the question, what's your real objective? Because you're not keep going there just to see nice pictures of the desert. There's something else you're trying to do. And I doubt it's terraforming. We don't have that technology. So what's really going on? Please think about that. This is Kasank Mana Keperu, son of Ma and Tootie. Ma'at is a beautiful guy that's Heteru. Until my next video. Question everything. Amin Ra.